Welcome to the deep dive. You guys have sent in some seriously interesting stuff lately,
Yeah.
and the theme I'm seeing is this idea of thinking better. So, we're all about that here, right? So let's jump right in. We're going deep on how to think successfully today using what we've got from John C. Maxwell's work. We're going to try to pull out the golden nuggets, the things that can really help you guys sharpen your thinking, get to where you want to be, and all that good stuff. And the big idea here, the thing this guy who spent 40 years studying successful people keeps coming back to, is that the way they think, it's not like some magic gift.
Yeah.
It's learnable, like a skill you can practice and get better at.
It is. It is. And the impact that shift in thinking can have, that's the real game changer. Like we're talking bringing in new income, solving those pesky problems that just keep coming back, even spotting those big opportunities, the kind that can really make a difference professionally and personally. It's reaching a whole new level.
Okay, so let's really dig into that. Because one thing that really struck me is this idea that you don't just become a better thinker automatically. Like these great ideas, they don't just appear, right? You got to go after them. If you want to cultivate a better way of thinking, it takes real effort, some serious brain power. The text even quotes Einstein on this, a guy who knew a thing or two about thinking, right? He said, thinking is hard work. That's why so few do it. It's a deliberate process.
No doubt about it. But that's what makes it such a worthwhile investment. Think about what Napoleon Hill said, that the ideas people have had, they're worth more than all the gold ever dug up. So when you put in the effort to understand and improve your thinking, you're tapping into something truly unlimited. Resources run out, markets change, but a mind that can think, well, that's like a diamond mine that never stops producing.
So how do we do it? How do we start and keep going on this journey to become better thinkers? The material lays out some really practical steps. The first one is about feeding your mind, giving it good input. It talks about successful thinkers constantly seeking out new ideas. So what kind of input should we be looking for?
It's about being super intentional with what you let into your mind, almost like nourishing your body, right? You want the good stuff. Books that offer deep insights, articles from solid publications, conversations with people who are really sharp, that kind of thing. It's like the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. And here's a little tip from the source. When you come across an interesting idea, write it down. Keep it somewhere visible in your thinking space so it can keep sparking more thoughts.
I love that. It's like a physical reminder for your brain to keep working on it. Building on this idea of input, the next point focuses on who we get it from. Spend time with good thinkers,
Yeah.
people who will challenge your ideas, make you rethink things. The author talks about how his own friends and colleagues, they're all people who value thinking deeply. Makes me think of that saying, iron sharpens iron. How crucial is it to be around these kinds of minds?
It's absolutely key. The people you spend your time with, they have a huge impact on your growth. If you want to be a sharper thinker, be around people who are already doing that, who are constantly learning and growing. Their energy, it rubs off on you. They'll question your ideas, offer different perspectives, really push you to think outside the box. It's like a positive cycle of intellectual energy.
The third step is about taking control of your thoughts, choosing to think good ones. And this isn't just hoping for the best, it's about making time for thinking. The example they give is Chick-fil-A's president, Dan Cathy. He has a thinking schedule. He blocks off specific time every few weeks, every month, even a couple of full days every year, just for thinking. The material also talks about finding your own thinking place and writing your ideas down. Why is this so important?
Because in our busy lives, real thinking, the deep kind, it often gets pushed aside. By setting aside dedicated time, you're making space for reflection, for those groundbreaking ideas to come through. Even someone as busy as Dan Cathy makes time for it. And having a specific spot can really help your mind associate that place with thinking. Writing it down, that's important too. It makes those fleeting thoughts solid, something you can work with.
So you've got those good thoughts. The next step is to do something with them, and do it quickly. They quote Eddie Rickenbacker, a World War I flying ace. He said, think things through, then follow through. Doesn't get more straightforward than that. Why is it so important to act fast on your ideas?
Ideas, they often have a short shelf life. That initial spark, that excitement, it can fade quickly if you don't act on it. By moving quickly, you capture that energy, that momentum. It's what takes an idea from just a thought to something real. Without action, even the best ideas are just that, ideas.
And here's an interesting point. The material talks about using those positive feelings you get from successful thinking to fuel even more good thinking after you've acted on those ideas and seen some success, like a positive feedback loop, right?
Exactly. It's about building on those wins. When you've thought something through, taken action, and it works out, take a moment to appreciate that. That sense of accomplishment can actually motivate you to think even more, even better. It keeps the momentum going.
And finally, the last step emphasizes that this isn't a one-time thing. It's about repeating the process over and over. One brilliant idea isn't enough for lasting success in life or in work. They use the analogy of mining for gold. It's about consistently finding those veins, not just living off one lucky nugget.
Right. Sustainable success. It comes from consistently engaging in good thinking. People who have one great idea and try to ride that forever, they often struggle in the long run. It's about developing the ability to consistently come up with, refine, and implement great ideas. Keep digging for that intellectual gold.
Okay, so we've talked about the internal process. Now, the material shifts to the environment, to creating the right place to think. The first type of place is a place to think your thoughts. This is about finding a spot where good ideas come naturally, and it's different for everyone. Could be the shower, a park, your car, even a spa. What's the idea behind this?
It's about training your mind, creating an association. If you consistently go to this place with the intention of thinking well over time, your mind starts to expect it there. It becomes a place free from distractions, where your mind can wander, make connections, and come up with new ideas. And don't forget, have a way to capture those thoughts, a notebook, a voice recorder, so they don't disappear.
The second type of place is a place to shape your thoughts. This is where those initial ideas get refined, tested, and, importantly, written down. They quote S.I. Hayakawa, who said, "Learning to write is learning to think. You don't know anything clearly unless you can state it in writing." The author even lists some personal benefits of this shaping time: humor, humility, excitement about the future, creativity, fulfillment, honesty, passion, and change. It's much more than just editing, isn't it?
It really is. This is where those rough ideas get molded into something concrete, something you can act on. Writing it down forces you to be clear, exposes weaknesses in your thinking, and those benefits, they show how this process can lead to real personal growth. It's not just about the idea, it's about what you learn about yourself as you work on it.
Then there's a place to stretch your thoughts. This is about bringing other people in, getting their perspectives, expanding on your ideas. The author has a formula for this. The right thought plus the right people in the right environment at the right time for the right reason, the right result. So thinking alone isn't always the best way.
Definitely not. This is about the power of collaboration. Even a great idea can get so much better when you bring in different minds. By involving the right people, you get new viewpoints, your assumptions get challenged, and the idea can reach its full potential. That formula shows that it's not just about the idea itself, it's about the context and the people involved.
The fourth place is a place to land your thoughts. This is about going from abstract ideas to practical application. They even use Einstein's theory of relativity as an example, saying its real power came through its applications. They talk about landing ideas in a specific order. First with yourself, then with key influencers, and finally with those who will be affected by it. This seems like a crucial step that's often missed.
Absolutely crucial. A great idea that stays theoretical doesn't have much impact. This is about making your ideas actionable. Starting with yourself ensures it aligns with your values, then involving key people gets them on board, and finally, getting feedback from those affected is a reality check. It bridges the gap between thinking and doing.
And finally, there's a place to fly your thoughts. This is putting those well-developed, tested ideas into action. They quote Henri Louis Bergson, "Think like a man of action, act like a man of thought."
It completes the cycle, right? Thinking leads to action. Exactly. Thinking without action is just daydreaming. This is where it all comes together, where the value of good thinking is realized. It leads to real accomplishments, to making a difference.
Now, the material talks about the portrait of a good thinker. And it's not about IQ or knowing trivia. It's about specific thinking skills that anyone can develop. They compare it to visionary companies like in Jim Collins and Jerry Porras' work, where all the pieces work together. And then they list 11 thinking skills. That's a lot.
It is a really comprehensive framework. They are. Seeing the wisdom of big picture thinking, unleashing the potential of focused thinking, discovering the joy of creative thinking, recognizing the importance of realistic thinking, releasing the power of strategic thinking, feeling the energy of possibility thinking, embracing the lessons of reflective thinking, questioning the acceptance of popular thinking, encouraging the participation of shared thinking, experiencing the satisfaction of unselfish thinking, and enjoying the return of bottom line thinking.
And they emphasize that they're teaching how to think, not what to think. It's up to you to figure out your strengths and weaknesses in these areas. Let's dig into a couple, starting with cultivating big picture thinking. The idea here is that people are judged by the size of their thinking, like Zarathustra said. So what's so good about thinking big?
Big picture thinking, it gives you wholeness, maturity, perspective. It expands what you can see and what you believe you can do. People who think big, they never stop learning. They listen intently to others. They look beyond their own world, and they live full lives.
And importantly, why should you care about this? The text gives some great benefits. It lets you lead better because you see the whole picture, you can size up situations, and chart a course for the future. It keeps your daily actions aligned with your bigger goals. It helps you understand others, it makes teamwork stronger, and keeps you from getting lost in the details. And it helps you navigate new territory.
Really powerful stuff. And they give some practical steps for cultivating this. Don't get hung up on certainty. Be comfortable with ambiguity. Learn from everything, successes and failures. Get insights from lots of different people and give yourself permission to explore, to go against the grain. They even ask, are you thinking beyond yourself and your own world?
Let's move to the next skill, engaging in focused thinking. They start with some quotes. Nikola Tesla said, he did each thing as if he did nothing else, talking about that deep concentration. Bertrand Russell said that focused concentration is essential for achieving difficult things. And Robert Lind, he said it's important to know which facts to ignore. What is focused thinking all about?
It's about minimizing distractions, getting rid of that mental clutter to bring laser focus to whatever you're working on. This focus helps you achieve your goals, gives your ideas time to develop, makes your objectives crystal clear, and lets you become a master in your field.
And where should you, our listener, focus your attention? They say be selective, not exhaustive. Focus on your priorities, personal goals, family, your team's objectives. Discover your talents. Think about past successes. Get feedback from others. And develop a clear vision of your dreams. They do warn against focusing too narrowly too soon, especially for younger folks.
Right. Finding where your focus will have the biggest impact is key. It's about aligning your energy with your values and potential. And for younger people, it's good to explore different things first before narrowing down.
So how do you get better at focusing? The material gives some great tips. Eliminate distractions. Get disciplined about your priorities. Create barriers if you need to. Schedule focused thinking time. Avoid multitasking. And limit distractions like checking email. Keep reminders of your focus visible. And set clear, achievable goals. David Belasco said, if you can't write your idea on the back of my business card, you don't have a clear idea.
I love that quote. It's about being concise, getting to the heart of the matter. Those tips are all about strengthening your mental discipline. In our world, minimizing distractions is tough, but so important. Treat focused thinking time like an important appointment. Visual reminders keep you on track. And clear goals give you direction and motivation. Ultimately, it's about letting go of some things to focus on what truly matters.
This has been a really insightful look into the world of successful thinking. We talked about learning, seeking good input, developing thinking habits, the importance of our environment, and specific skills like big picture and focused thinking.
And the big takeaway is that being a good thinker, it's not something you're born with, it's a skill you can learn, and it can have a huge impact on your life.
So for you listening, think about which of these skills resonates with you right now, what you're working towards, the challenges you're facing. Pick one or two of the techniques we talked about and try them out. Go back to the sources you shared and see them in a new light. Think about how becoming a more intentional thinker can open up new possibilities for you, lead you to those aha moments.